Barry Cullen, sales manager for a duck farm, is making his daily rounds. As a native of Northern Ireland, he's feeling a bit concerned these days. He's worried that if Britain were to leave the EU, it could have negative consequences for the farm, which lies right on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. The farm might end up having to pay customs on meat exports to the north. Should Britain leave the EU, the border to the single market would run right through County Monaghan.
The road signs change from miles per hour to kilometres per hour. So that's how close we are to the border.
The border also symbolises an age-old conflict, marking the edge of the United Kingdom for Protestants and dividing an island that many Catholics see as one nation. The EU has been a decisive factor in keeping the peace on both sides of the border for 2 decades now.
You could set the political landscape in Northern Ireland back, 15, 20 years to what it was like whenever the British Army was in the north. When you were travelling anywhere, you would always have to be stopped. Your car, you'd have to get out, they would search it. We were always searched, so it wasn't a very nice time.
Huge police stations like this one in the border village of Crossmaglen, a Catholic stronghold in Northern Ireland, or former customs posts are relics of that era. Before the peace process, the inner Irish border was among the most closely monitored in Europe, says Anthony SOARES.
So a lorry driver passing from the Republic of Ireland coming into Northern Ireland would have to stop at this building. The lorry driver would have to enter this building with all the documentation declaring what he had on board his lorry.
Later, the British authorities converted the customs posts to checkpoints. In the 1970s and 80s, many of the smaller crossing points were demolished and the border fortified. British forces kept an eye out for terrorists at the official border crossings. Irish farmer HUGH Conway would not like to see that situation return. He sees today's open border as a huge step forward. He even remembers the frequent smuggling that went on here during World War II.
The police wouldn't touch you for small things.
Yeah.
They let you go with small things when you had nothing big. Only 2 loaves or a half pound of tea or something. Yeah.
It used to be difficult for the farmers in the south to do business with the north. HUGH Conway's farm was right behind a closed border crossing.
It was very awkward for them. We couldn't take cattle this road or that road. You had to take them way back to the south. And these places they took their cattle away to Armagh and Killaloe.
The Northern Irish farmers wouldn't like to see a return to the old days either. Keith and Alan Wilson are cattle breeders, Protestants and optimists. The elder Wilson can still remember the customs duties. But they hope that any reintroduction of border checks would have only economic and not political consequences for Northern Ireland.
If it did happen to be that they would leave the EU, I don't think it'll affect the peace process. I think it's gone far enough now for it to stand on its own feet.
Northern Ireland's largest Protestant party backs a Brexit and says farmers shouldn't worry about leaving the EU. Most Catholics, on the other hand, like Barry, oppose leaving the EU. Barry Cullen may enjoy a tight horse race, but not close political ones. He's worried that the great majority of voters in Britain simply don't understand what's actually at stake.
And 30 change. Lovely. That's a winning ticket.
Hopefully. I'll be back.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
If I was betting, I would say that they'll stay in, but a very low odds bet. I think evens, 50-50. Yeah.
Euros, sterling, yes.
Barry is voting yes in the referendum, and he hopes that in future he will still be able to enjoy his quick trips across the border to bet on the horses.
With the poll